April, despite what T.S. Eliot may have told you, is not the cruelest month, at least not in Enigma, Georgia. Azaleas are everywhere. Evening skies are parish blue, and on the first day of that month in our little town, everyone is a fool. I'd been back home in Enigma for nearly 6 months, settled in nicely, running the old juniper bookshop left to me by my Aunt Rose. I was just beginning to feel at home. And why not? The shop was doing remarkably well for a place that sold books. A small group of students from the local college thought of me as some sort of weird guru. And a certain David Madison, gardener extraordinaire, had asked me to dinner a full 7 times, which was 7 more times than anyone in Atlanta had asked me out during the last 6 months I'd lived there. My aunt, who was not my aunt, Dr. Philomena Waldrop, head of the psychology department at the aforementioned Barnsley College, had, at last, gotten out of Whispering Pines, a very private psychiatric care facility hidden away on Sapelo Island. And while she understood what a cliché it was for a psychiatrist to need a stay in a loony bin, her phrase, not mine, she wore it well. She seemed to be on a much more even keel than she had been 6 months before when she'd set fire to the gazebo behind the bookshop. In short, all was well in my blue heaven, or so I thought. It was Sunday morning, the quietest day of my week. I slept in, then I waded out of my dreams, down my stairs, and into my kitchen. I took my coffee, French press and all, to the lovely new gazebo that David Madison had rebuilt. I watched a rabbit nibble my parsley and was glad to share it with her. And by the time my cup was empty, there was Gloria Coleman, the feistiest Episcopal priest in the southeast, rounding the corner of the house and headed my way.
"You can get yourself out of bed and into that gazebo, but you can't make it to a 10 o'clock mass," she called out.
"I can't come to your church in my pajamas," I said, whereas the gazebo doesn't seem to care. I lifted the French press in her direction, and she nodded. I poured her a cup. "You missed a really, really good sermon," she told me, taking the cup and sitting right next to me. Gloria was a surreal bit of adventure, even when she was sitting still. She looked more like a stevedore than a priest. The purple shirt and clerical collar did nothing to belie that impression.
"It was my April Fool's sermon," she went on. "I read from the 1631 pressing of the King James, in which the printer accidentally left out the word 'not' in a certain commandment. It tells everyone, 'Thou shalt commit adultery,' which was a big hit with the congregation in general."
I smiled and sat back. I'll bet, although most of the college boys who patronize my little shop don't really need that kind of encouragement. She shrugged.
"Small town. What else is there to do?"